This is Campus Currency, and welcome back to part 3 in our series on completing the FAFSA application. In this video, we're going to add your high school information, we're going to add the list of colleges and universities that you're applying to, and we're going to report on your living status while you're attending college. So as you can see, the menu selection has now moved over to the school selection process, and it is still looking at student information. So the first thing they're going to ask is the name of your high school. If you add the name of the high school, they're also going to require the city and the state where it's located, so you might want to just add the city and state and hit confirm. It'll bring up all the results of all the schools located in the area. And the reason for that is if you enter just the high school name, sometimes the name might be slightly different from what the FAFSA application processing center has versus what the actual official legal name of the school is. So it might just be easier to enter city and state and confirm. We chose Los Angeles for this example, and it came up with 543 results. And then you would just go through and select the name of the high school that you attended. Then it's going to jump over to ask you the colleges that you want to add to your application, and you can add up to 10 colleges at a time to your FAFSA. So one thing to keep in mind when you're completing the FAFSA application, this application is not going directly to your college or university. It goes to a processing center, and then based on the colleges that you report on this application, it will send the results to those schools, and that's why you're going to enter a list of the colleges. And some students might be like, well, I'm not sure where I want to go. There's more than 10 schools that I'm interested in looking at. Can I apply to more than 10 schools? The answer is yes, but this is the process of how you have to do that, and it's very specific. So the first thing you're going to do is submit this FAFSA once you're done with the 10 colleges that you're going to report initially. Then you have to wait until you receive what's called the Student Aid Report, or SAR. That's going to come from the Department of Education and should come to your email address. Essentially, that's a copy of the FAFSA application that you just completed. It's kind of meant so that you can go through and look at it to make sure you didn't make mistakes. But once you receive that student aid report, and only once you've received it, then you can log back into the FAFSA at studentaid.gov, select Make FAFSA Corrections. You'll be able to go right back to this school selection, delete out those 10 colleges that you initially put on, because those colleges would have already received your information. Then you can add 10 more. You have to make sure that you hit submit again. You have to resubmit this application, and then the next 10 colleges will receive that information. So then they're going to ask you to enter the school codes for the schools you're interested in. If you do know the school's federal school code, you can enter it right in here, and when you hit search, it will come up with the name of the college, and then you can just select that. Most times students aren't going to know that information. You can call the financial aid office at the college you're interested in and ask them for the federal school code, or you can actually go on the website for the college and go to the financial aid portion of the website, and maybe they list the federal school code there. The other option, and I'm going to put the actual list of school codes here in the link at the end of the video, which you'll be able to click on. It'll give you an Excel spreadsheet of all the schools with their school codes. Another option of how you can do this if you don't know the school code is to just search by the state, the city, or the school name. In this example, I'm choosing New York State because I want to show you an issue that comes up with the school names. But you can enter just the state, and it'll bring back, once you do the search, it'll bring back all the options. So for New York State, there's 436 colleges listed. In this example, I chose 2, Suffolk Community College and SUNY at Albany. So the reason I chose SUNY at Albany is just to make a point that if you would search for the college just by the name of the college, most people know the SUNY at Albany as the University of Albany. Not a lot of students or families would necessarily know to put in SUNY at Albany. SUNY stands for the State University System of New York. Also, a lot of students or families are used to calling a university the University of. So the University of Albany. Not many states use the term at. So little things like that might not pop up. That's why it's good to just put in the city or state if you're unsure of the school code and do a search function by that. The next thing you're going to do is pick your housing plans. So you have to pick the housing plans for each college. Now, depending on where you're going, if you have a college that you're interested in that's close to home, you might be living at home. Otherwise, you might live on campus if it's out of state. So you want to make sure that you're putting the correct housing plan on your application as well, because a lot of this has to do with the cost of attendance. Typically, living on campus has a higher budget component than living off campus or living with parent. So if you accidentally put that you're going to be living on campus, and then you decide, well, no, I'm going to live off campus or I'm going to live at home, that could change your financial aid eligibility. So you want to make sure that you're putting in the correct information the first time, just to avoid processing errors. Or, you know, like I said, if you get a financial aid award and then you tell the school, oh no, I'm actually living off campus instead of on campus, that could potentially reduce your financial aid awards. Then you can view the college information as well, so you can compare schools to one another. It'll give you information such as where it's located, the in-state and out-of-state tuition. The net price average is the average of what a student pays going to this university. That's not really that important, just because every student's application is dependent on the information they put on the FAFSA. So that is not necessarily an indicator of what you will be paying after the application of your financial aid awards. It'll also show things such as graduation rates, retention rates, and transfer rates, just so that you can once again compare with other schools. And that is it for this video. Coming up in part 4, we're going to talk about the parent demographics. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.